Okay, good morning to anyone that is here or watching back. Um, Today, I just wanted to talk about something that it doesn't always get the attention it deserves, really. So it's the screening call when it comes to recruitment. I've been in recruitment for about 10 years now, picked up a lot of things along the way from a lot of different industries. And I've kind of honed in now what a screening call really should look like. So it could only be, sort of 20 to 30 minutes on the phone, but it can shape the entire outcome of a hire. So, we all know, and it sounds really basic, but recruitment isn't just about checking off requirements. It's about finding someone who isn't not only just the right fit for your team, but your culture and your sort of day-to-day reality, of working for either us or your company or whoever. And that all starts really with just a good conversation. So why do screening calls matter so much? So, I mean, they're our first chance to really get to know someone. We can look at a CV and see, black text on a white page, but realistically, we don't really understand the person and sort of what they're about. So you can use a screening call to sort of check the basics, sure, skills, experience, availability. But more importantly, what I tend to try and listen for is energy, communication, attitude. Um, it's it's really the candidate's first taste of what it's like to work with us or you as well. So what I find is if it's rushed or impersonal, it's just sort of all over the place, then that's not really a good impression for them, and it's not the impression we want to leave either. So my kind of approach these days to screening is designed to make candidates feel heard and respected, uncover real drivers behind someone's application. What are their motivations, their values, and their working style. That's a big topic these days, and really what we're trying to do is save time by filtering in only the candidates who truly align with our or your needs. So what makes a good screening call? I find just be relaxed is kind of the main thing. The more relaxed we are, the more relaxed the candidate will feel. Um, 9 times out of 10, it will give you more sort of response in return, more genuine, honest response. If you go in prepared and you know who you're talking to and what you're trying to learn, it's a massive benefit. There's no use sort of looking at a CV and saying, oh, I'm just going to call that person. Just spend a minute or two looking at their profile. You might find that you want to take note of sort of any particular questions or maybe even not red flags, but considerations that you want to talk about during that call. The big thing I learned, and this was from my very first recruitment role, my manager there, he always said, don't be afraid to ask why. So by that we mean, why are they looking for a new role? It could be absolutely anything. It could be as simple as they need a different salary for a mortgage. It could be travel time. But understanding why gives that reason, then gives you the opportunity to ask a question off the back of that later on in the call. Why would they leave their current role for yours? Sometimes it's not about sort of personal circumstance. It could be a lack of growth or a lack of optimism about their position or things like that. Is is their position at the moment a short stint? Ask them why. It could just, they might have only been there 7 months, and you think, why 7 months isn't a very long time. Ask why. Ask the real questions. Again, make space for real conversation. Use open questions. It sounds really basic and really sort of cliche, but a yes or no answer isn't going to get you any information that you want. Role specific questions, obviously, verify their experience with XYZ. This is where I find having a set template per position is key. I'm not an expert in everything I hire for, and I've got no shame in admitting that. But taking a briefing call from a hiring manager, asking them, what are the three sort of killer questions that you'd want me to ask? What's really going to verify their experience? And then you can ask that question, make note of it. You may not understand it, but it's going to help you down the line. Be honest about the role, the team, the challenges. And I find quite as often as well, it's important to tell them why the role is open. It could be that someone didn't work out before. It could be down to growth. It could be down to expansion into a new territory. But that transparency just really builds that trust. Big key, and I've said it a few times now, it's just listen. Listen to them, listen to what their drivers are, their motivators are, listen to how they are as a person. Often what a candidate doesn't say is just as important as what they do and what they do say, Um, Again, also important, just outline the next steps. We live in a time where there's a big popularity around recruiters doing what they call ghosting. If you give the candidate a timescale, we do this at THSP, we have sort of SLAs and things in place. So, right, within 48 hours, we hope to come back to you and we'll have an interview for you, or if it's gone far enough, it's an offer. It might take 24 to 48 hours, but let them know so they're not just sat there sort of waiting around for you. It again just gives them some buy-in. Constant communication, checking in is absolutely key. So speaking of key, massive takeaway, done right, a screening call can save you and will save you hours of time later, not necessarily in hiring the right or wrong person, but you shouldn't have to go back and keep asking questions. You want to try and nip it all in the bud in that first call. And it really just sets the tone for a respectful and human hiring process. And I find that's something that we all can sort of really benefit from, not just internally, but something that we offer to people as well. So great hire starts with a great conversation. If we take screening calls seriously as a genuine human connection, which it's a conversation, it's an introduction. We can not only improve our own hiring results, but other people's too. And we also create a better experience for everyone involved. So that was my very, very quick snapshot, 6-minute talk about screening calls. I think that's everything I have to say. If there are any questions, Emma will ping me. If there aren't, I will see you soon.